Have you ever felt so overwhelmed that your body literally shut down? What if I told you there's a scientific explanation, and it was discovered by one man, almost by accident? This is the untold story of Hans Selye, the man who uncovered the science of stress. Hans Selye, 1907-1982, was an Austrian-Canadian endocrinologist. He is famously known as the father of stress research. In 1936, while working at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, he introduced the term stress in the context of biology and medicine. Before Selye, stress wasn't even considered a medical or psychological issue. It was just a vague feeling. Selye was initially conducting experiments by injecting rats with various hormones to study female sex hormones. But something strange happened. Regardless of the substance injected, the rats showed the same physical symptoms: enlarged adrenal glands, shrunken thymus, and bleeding ulcers in the stomach. He realized it wasn't the specific hormone that caused the reaction. It was the stress of the injection process itself. This observation led to his General Adaptation Syndrome, GAS, theory. Selye described stress responses as a three-stage process that the body undergoes when faced with a threat. Alarm stage. The body reacts immediately to a perceived threat, stressor. This triggers the fight or flight response. Stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol are released. You may experience increased heart rate, rapid breathing, muscle tension, hyperfocus, or anxiety. Resistance stage. If the stress continues, the body enters a state of resistance. It attempts to return to normal while still remaining on high alert. The body adapts to the stressor, but remains stressed. Symptoms: fatigue, irritability, frustration, poor concentration. Exhaustion stage. Chronic stress eventually depletes the body's resources. This leads to burnout, depression, anxiety, or even physical illness, heart disease, ulcers, etc. The immune system becomes compromised. Selye emphasized that psychological stress, like work pressure, relationship problems, or emotional trauma, can trigger the same physiological responses as physical stress. Key psychological responses: anxiety, depression, emotional outbursts, cognitive fatigue, social withdrawal. He also introduced the concept of eustress, positive stress, and distress, negative stress. Eustress is a beneficial form of stress that occurs during challenges that are exciting or rewarding, e.g., starting a new job. Distress is harmful stress that overwhelms you and leads to burnout or physical mental breakdown. When stressed, your hypothalamus signals the pituitary gland, which in turn signals the adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones increase glucose in the bloodstream, heighten brain activity, and suppress non-essential functions, like digestion and immune responses. This is why chronic stress causes digestive issues, sleep disorders, immune system suppression, and memory and focus issues. He published over 1,700 articles and 39 books on stress. His most famous work, The Stress of Life, 1956. His research gave birth to psychoneuroimmunology, the study of how stress affects the immune system. Today, his GAS model is taught in psychology, medicine, and even military training. Even decades later, Selye's research remains relevant. Burnout culture is on the rise. Mental health issues tied to stress have skyrocketed. His work helps explain PTSD, chronic fatigue, and even workplace absenteeism. Fun fact: NASA uses GAS models to help astronauts deal with space mission stress. Diagnosis: no standard test, but tools like the Perceived Stress Scale, PSS, are used. Monitoring cortisol levels, heart rate variability, and behavioral symptoms. Treatment: CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, relaxation techniques like meditation, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, medications like antidepressants and anxiolytics, and lifestyle changes such as sleep, exercise, and nutrition. Prevention: regular exercise, boundaries in work-life balance, social support systems, mindfulness, and journaling. Hans Selye didn't just define stress. He redefined how we see ourselves in the world. In every tense moment, every anxious breath, his legacy lives on. Understanding stress is the first step to mastering it.